Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. And shalom to all the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I just wanted to go into a little lesson, basically going into sacrifices. And it's based on a quote, based on a lesson actually that a brother had did a while ago that I had heard actually some months ago. And one quote that I actually will not forget, which this is the quote here. It says, "If you don't sacrifice what you want becomes the sacrifice." And upon hearing that, it made me ponder. It made me think. It really made me wonder, and it made me think about that quote. Just sitting up there thinking about the different things I had going on at the time, and things I didn't want to give up, and understanding that, starting just relating that quote to my situation at the time. And as I look back on it now, I see how different my situation is, based on this quote, and based on the scriptures too, and also too, the Lord has a higher purpose, higher calling for us, for us men that's in His truth, that have the faith in Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. He has a higher calling for us. So sacrifices will be made. Sacrifices have to be made in order for us to achieve that. Things in this world where it's going to be something. It's going to be things that you have to give up, or things that you have to set aside in order for the goal to be reached, and in order for the mission to be accomplished. This is Psalms chapter 5. Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. It says, "Gather my saints together unto me." Right, my saints. We know the saints is going into the Israelites, the elected nation of Israel. And the saints are going to be the ones that be saved, And the Lord said, "Gather my saints together unto me." We're gathering to the Lord now through this word. We're being brought back to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai through His word. Our mindsets are being altered and being changed into the liking and into fashion into Yahweh, Yahweh Shai's mindset. We're being gathered to the Lord now, and then there's going to be a physical gathering too when the Lord, Yahweh Shai, returns. But it says, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." Right, which I get the word sacrifice too. It's the word zabah. It says sacrifices of righteousness, sacrifices of strife, sacrifices of dead things, the covenant sacrifice. Okay, which I might have to pull it up on Google. As a matter of, let me see the root. To get a more defined, which these are all good, but this is more so what I was trying to go into. For 3, it says giving up, abandonment, surrender, foregoing, renunciation, renouncement, forfeited, loss, relinquishment, resignation, abdication, signing away, yielding, ceding, waiving. Right. So, and 4, relinquishment, loss, self-sacrifice, sacrifice something, give up things. Right. And not all the times it might be a physical thing. It might not always be a certain job opportunity or a certain career path, because brothers had the opportunity. Brothers, brothers come from all different types of walks of life. Brothers had opportunities to have maybe high-paying jobs, or maybe go to the NFL, the NBA, the different sports leagues, professional sports leagues. Brothers had talents, could have probably went to a music industry or went into the music industry, could have went into acting, all the different walks of life, Then brothers had to give up, certain situations, certain people had to be taken away from their life, or they had to remove themselves away from certain people, women, friends, different things. But also too, it can be certain mindsets, certain ideas that you have. Like, for example, brothers might have grew up or might have had the ideal of wanting their own family, wanting their own family, wanting the wife, the kids, so on and so forth. But in order to achieve what they really want, achieve the goal, achieve salvation, that type of idea or that type of mindset might have to be sacrificed. It might have to be given up in order to achieve the goal, because we know all the things that we want, we're going to receive in the kingdom anyway. But you can't get it, there has to be a sacrifice on this side. So I'm going to go back, read that scripture again. It's Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. It says, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice," right? Those that have made a covenant with Yahweh by Shem Yahushua through giving up things of this world. Let me get Matthew chapter 19, starting at verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, "Behold, we have forsaken all, and followed thee. What shall we have therefore?" I'm going to read in the NLT. Then Peter said to him, "We've given up everything to follow you. What will we get?" Right. So there has to be a sacrifice, going into, I'm going to get that forsaken all, which, since I accidentally clicked on this, but let me see what it say. Just to see if it said anything about sacrifice. If it actually used that word in the translations. Okay. I think any of them did. Right. It says to sacrifice. This is forsaken.
Strong's G 863. I fear me. I fear me.
I fear me. And it says, B, just going straight to the point. To send forth, yield up, to expire, C, to let go, let alone, let be, to disregard, to leave, not to discuss now, a topic, right? Going back into what I said, certain ideas, certain mindsets. It said not to discuss now. Going back to the example of a family, because starting a family, building your own family, that's a whole process in itself. And that could take certain brothers away from the ministry. That could take away time that they could be given to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, or, the ministry in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That could be used to take them away from that. And that might not be the purpose or the lot that the Lord had for that particular brother, for his situation. Something that we should pray for is a balance in our situations too. Balance, and to be content with what we have, or to be content with what, what's going on. It's nothing wrong with wanting things, but what's best for your situation. A lot of times sacrifices have to be made for you to be balanced, for you to have the things that you need in order to continue, in order for you to push to the end, so to speak, in order for you to endure to the end. So it says to leave, not to discuss now, a topic of teachers, writers, and speakers. D, to omit, to neglect. D, to let go, give up a debt. Forgive, to remit, to give up, keep no longer. uh, verse 2. It says to permit, allow, not to hinder, to give up a thing to a person, to leave, go away from, in order to go to another place, right? To leave, go away from, in order to go to another place. The other place we trying to go to is the kingdom. We're trying to get on them chariots so we can be saved from Babylon the Great, before we can be saved from the destruction of America. That is our goal, you know. That's the main thing we have to keep in mind. And we're going to have to let go of things or sacrifice things of this world, sacrifice certain ideas in order to achieve that. And that's not to say neglect your family, neglect, your job, neglect your responsibilities, because we're also being raised and being taught how to be proper leaders of the earth and how to be proper leaders of our nation. So when we get into those leadership positions, we're not going to neglect certain duties as concerning our nation, as concerning the earth. We're not going to neglect it. So that's not to say neglect your responsibilities, but it's to say sacrifices will have to be made. So maybe you can't give the woman more time than Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or your kids, or other things in this world that pertains to this life, or pertains to just something that you enjoy doing. You can't give them more attention than Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because we still in captivity, and we still have a responsibility, a duty to teach the word, to be diligent in season, out of season. The Lord still requires these things. And so if we're not doing it, or if it's a certain hindrance, if it's something that's hindering us from doing it, the Lord will take this out of your way. He will remove it out of your path. Going back to that quote, the thing that you don't want to sacrifice will become the sacrifice. It says to depart from anyone, to depart from one and leave him to himself, so that all mutual claims are abandoned. Right. This going into people, going into it could be friends, people of this world, women, so on and so forth, family members, to desert wrongfully, to go away, leaving something behind, Brothers have walked away from many opportunities of this life, many opportunities in this world that they could have been in a whole different position. But yet, there wasn't a path to walk, It's still a sacrifice. It says to leave one by not taking him as a companion, to leave on dying, leave behind one. So that's the point. I'm going to read it again. It says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And also, too, going into we have forsaken all, you got different brothers, different things that have to be sacrificed with different brothers, Our situations don't pertain to each brother, or sister. Our situations don't pertain to each person. So once somebody's sacrifice might not be another person's sacrifice, and so on and so forth, vice versa, but all things are covered. That's why Yahweh went into it. And then the first thing Yahweh told them, when you come back and I'm in my glory, you gonna be in your glory too, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. The first thing he told them was the goal. The goal is to be in the kingdom with Yahweh Shah. And Lord will be up to 144,000. So I'm going to read it. It says, and Yahweh Shah said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration. Right. So when you come back, when the proper time comes, when you come back and I make my return, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So he let them know the goal first. What you fighting for, everything that you're giving, everything that you're sacrificing, this is what it's for. And this is in addition to it. He said, and everyone that have forsaken houses or brethren or sister or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Right. So everything that you have been sacrificing, that you had to give up on this side, that either you had it and you lost it, or you had the opportunity to get it and you didn't take it, or whatever the case may be, you might have wanted it and you couldn't get it, and you had to give up on the idea. It said, you shall receive it 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and last shall be first. Right. And also, too, a part of giving it up, making that sacrifice, it might not just be for you for that time. You might have to go some time before the Lord blesses you or give you whatever it is that you might have wanted, or what you already had, and you had to sacrifice, you had to give it up. And then he might give it back to you, But nevertheless, sacrifices have to be made. This is Philippians chapter 3. Starting at verse 6, it says, concerning zeal, persecution, the church, touching the righteousness. I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, but what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Yahushua, which I'm reading in NLT. It says, I once thought these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless because of what Yahushua has done. I'm going to go back to KJV. Yeah, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach, my Lord, right? Which Yahushua HaMashiach is the word. So he said he counted everything but a loss. But loss, in comparison for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahushua, which just wanted to get that word loss. Okay, I thought it might have had something else, but we know what loss is. Yeah, doubtless, I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua, of Hamashiach Yahushua, my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, right? But do count them but dung, that I may win Yahushua. Because Paul had to give up a position. He said he was the Hebrews among Hebrews. Pharisee of the Pharisees, He was the top man in the Pharisee sect, He was moving on up to higher and higher positions. He was amongst the top. And he gave all that up, And he had people looking up to him. He had, the status. Okay, he had the rank. And he gave all of that up. And everyone that once looked at him as a great man, they started to look at him differently when he started to follow the same outfit, or, so to speak, that he was persecuted. Yahushua. He started to follow Yahushua. And this is the same one, the same followers of Yahushua you was persecuted. So that's just one thing. But he said he counted all as lost. He said he counted but dung, that he may win Yahushua. Right. And that's the same mindset we have to be in. Sacrifices have to be made, I'm going to get one more and I'm going to close it out. This is Hebrews chapter 11. Starting at verse 23. It says, by faith, when Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Right. So Moses could have chose to continue on being acting like the Egyptians and having that status and that rank in the land, of Egypt, while our people was getting oppressed, But he made a different choice, He gave all of that up. He counted all that dumb, He had a higher goal. He had a higher calling. Yahweh Shem Yahushua had something greater for him to do. He had another mission, His whole mindset and his focus shifted, And he gave all that up. That's why I said choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High. That was a sacrifice, to give up his position and give up all the pleasures and the luxury he had. He was in the palace of the king, or, palace of the Pharaoh. He gave all of that up so that he can do the will of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. It says, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Yahweh Shah greater riches than the treasures in heaven, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Right. So he said he esteemed the riches, he esteemed the reproach of Yahweh Shah greater riches, which I'm gonna read in the NLT. He thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Yahweh Shah than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. So Moses was already looking at the bigger picture. He already had a higher goal in mind, So he was ready to give up everything that he had in this world, everything he had, for a greater reward, for a greater calling. It's the same mindset we have to be in, So sacrifices is a part of, which I'm gonna get one more scripture. I'm gonna end it on this. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is a reasonable service. Right. So a sacrifice has to be made, Changes in mindsets have to be made. Things have to be given up, Ideas have to be given up, And that's not to say if you got a certain idea, like you want to get a new car or something, give that up. That's not to say nothing like that. But going back to what Peter said to Yahweh Shai, we are forsaking all. It's been things that we could have been doing or pursuing in this world, to better our situation or to put us somewhere else, that we've given up just so that we can do this ministry, so we can stay focused on the goal, So, Lord willing, it's been an edifying lesson. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, to rule well, and peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom.